Hello and welcome to This Day with BJ Arnett. Thank you so much for allowing me into your home. Well, today we have a couple that really has a story to tell and a book to tell us all about. You know, the reason this story is special to me is because I love stories about husband and wives working together. Welcome with me, Robert and Kaylee Fukui. They are the authors of Tandem, the Married Entrepreneur's Guide for Greater Work-Life Balance. Okay, first of all, greater work-life balance, is there a possibility that that can be done?
Yeah, well, we hope so. We wrote a book about it.
Thank y'all so much for being here. This is one of those subjects that, and as we were talking about before we came on air, whether you have a business that you've started together as husband and wife, or one had the other had a business, when you're husband and wife, you literally are in business together. So
Right.
let's unpack that thought.
Yep, the business of family, right? The business of marriage.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at, typical business, as you know, since you're in business as well, is you have financial statements, right? Profit and loss.
Yes.
Well, at home, the same thing, right? Income coming in, money going out, and hopefully you got some savings and investment and all that, and where to put all the money and all the decision making that goes into it, from the day-to-day households to planning for retirement, homes, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many things that go into just having a marriage and running a household that it's very much synonymous to running a business.
You know,
Yeah, getting on the same page. Oh, sorry, BJ.
No, no, no.
And having a vision of what that's going to look like. That could look different for each individual couple or family.
It's funny because, you know, when you take a look at the word, that really is what you are really looking at, is that this family, this husband and wife are in business together for this greater good. We are building legacies for our children and our children's children.
Absolutely. Right on, legacy. And that's how we even approach with our clients for their business. It's not just a means of making money, but it's actually a legacy thing. It's an asset that, number one, is providing for your family and your future, but also what you're doing with the business is impacting people's lives for the better, hopefully, right? I mean, in business, you're providing a product or service to make someone's life a little bit better, a little bit easier, whether it's for the moment or whether for it's long haul. But for some reason, the business, the product and service is actually doing something good for other people.
It's amazing when you really break that down. Is your business, no matter what it is for the good of other people. But when you think about it, that good circulates through your family, through your neighbors, through the community. You know, some people love to use this term, through your tribe. It affects everyone that you're involved with. I can imagine your clients are like, yes, give me the right words to use when I'm dealing with my partner.
Yeah, well, there's no silver bullet, but yeah, they always want the secret sauce to how to say the right things to the partner, right? And certainly that's part of the work we do.
It's something to take a look at when you're looking at how this affects the household, all within itself, with your children and how they react to a lifestyle that is not frivolous but ordered. Speak to that just a bit, because, you know, we're parents. Some even grand.
Yeah, so, when you're looking at running a business and running your household, a lot of people are just thinking it as a means to an end, or just means to make an income. But when you look at all the things that your business touches, all the people, all the stakeholders that your business touches, you've got your customers, you've got your vendors, you've got your employees, and then of course back at home. And the more successful your business can become, and the more intentional you are for making everybody around you's lives a little bit better, right? Then everybody wins, and you really make an impact. So it goes beyond just making money, but it really goes beyond. It really goes to speak of impacting people's lives and even the community that you're in.
So when we are impacting people's lives in the community that we're in, within your book, there are steps that we need to take: first, second, third, fourth. So talk to us about the steps at the very beginning. What do we need to do to get to this ultimate goal of this work-life balance?
Well, the first thing is you need to define it. So I think whenever that word comes out, we hear all kinds of feedback, positive and negative. It's impossible, or it's more work-life harmony, or you can't really have balance. You can't have the same amount of time in business and family. And so first thing you need to do is define it. And the first thing you need to understand is the way we define, the crux of how we define work-life balance isn't about, it's not a quantitative measure. It's not how much time in each area of your life you're spending in it, but it's qualitative. It's the quality of time that you're spending in business and your marriage, and your family, so that everybody, you're having a fulfilled life. So even if you're very busy in business, we all have some time to give at home. Like the first time, for us, we make sure, first time when we wake up, it's read the word, pray together. We don't have kids, but we have a dog. The dog hops in our lap. And then it's that moment together before you get the day started.
Yes.
So even something as simple as that is defining what work-life balance means, what's the quality of time you need to have. And then as husband and wife discuss on the greater part of your life, how do we make sure that life doesn't get ahead of us, that the business doesn't overshadow our life? And what are the things we want to protect for our life?
And then we have weekly meetings and we talk about our calendar. We say, okay, this week it's going to be super crazy. I have a lot going on, so we probably won't have as much time to get together. Let's pencil something in next week, so we know the expectations and we're not like upset, like, well, I didn't know you were going to be working all weekend. So when you know that, you're able to prepare yourself and you're like, okay, I can do that because I realize the next weekend he's going to take me out or we're going to spend time together.
Yes. I think, one of the things that really resonates with you all speaking is you're starting your day off together. So when you're starting your day off together, you're setting a foundation of how that day and the rest of the week is going to flow. But to be able to connect and get your word and get your prayer time together and get a sweet conversation just to start the morning right, then you dispel all those things that, I don't know about you, Kaylee, but I wake up with, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Where's my sticky note?
Oh, no, that never happens to me, PJ. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Exactly.
If I talk to 10 women, 9 of them will say, my house is a sticky note or wannabe sticky note disaster, because we keep up with things like that. But how do you do it and just never get to that place where you're actually completing a task? Is that the fear of being excellent? I know that kind of sounds weird. Or is it just the fear of tackling something that looks kind of big?
Yeah, well, I think when you talk about the list, because I got this question asked a while back about time management. How do you manage your time better so you can get everything done? Well, the real question is, should you get everything done? Are the things on your list things that you should be doing?
Wow.
Because if you look at your list and then you look at what are your priorities,
You know my husband. You know my husband, Robert. You all have had a conversation. That is that is what he says. Do you need all of this on your list? So what are the things that we need on the list, and what are the things that we don't need on the list?
So the first thing we list as we're talking about work-life balance is what are the priorities, right? And so we talked about the prayer time,
Yes.
the us time, right?
Yes.
How can we ensure every day we start with spiritual and our own personal time? And that's why first thing in the morning. So that's the protected time. And then there's the date nights, going on vacations or whatever, dinners at home, having dinners at the table, those kind of things. Look at what are the priorities that you want to have that you want to protect. And then everything else can fill in the gap. But what happens is by default, we just put stuff on our calendar and our to-do list, and our priorities are not usually on the calendar.
Because in our house, if it's not on the calendar, it just doesn't happen. So we will purposely sit down and try and plan out things ahead of time. Otherwise, you just get filled with all this busy stuff.
So that's where
so
the imbalance
good.
happens. Is everything's just going on the calendar. By default, everything else is taking priority, and the priorities are not being protected.
Protecting your priorities. If there's one thing I'm going to walk away with is protecting the priorities of my family, protecting the priorities of this team called husband and wife. When you look at, I think one of the words, and you mentioned it earlier, that really people just don't think is possible is that balance word. But when we look at it, if we prioritize, we begin to move into the balance. But after that point, how do we make sure that we're achieving our goals?
So that where it goes back to, again, the priorities. So we talked about priorities of life. Now in business, what are the priorities in business? It's the same thing in business too. We get busy doing a lot of stuff, whether it's at home or whether it's in business. And a lot of times the priorities that are going to move things forward, whether it's our spiritual life, our marriage, and our business, are on the back burner because the busyness is taking priority. And so even at work, whether it's your career or even for us in our business, what are priorities in our business that we need to do to make sure we do, and not let emails, texts, phone calls, fighting out fires, administrative work overtake those things. And so that's what happens, because the average business owner, well, I think just in general, you're only really, in an 8-hour day, you're only most productive for about 2 hours. 2.3 hours is what I heard the statistic is. You're only productive for 2.3 hours in a day. And a lot of times even that 2.3 hours is just overshadowed by the busy work. So we got to make sure that we're being productive in what we do and not just be busy.
That's amazing. When you are working together, who is the first one that says, okay, wait, we need to circle back around too? I love that.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, Kaylee's the one that'll keep me in check.
I
right?
love
'Cause
that.
I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And she's the one, I mean, even, you know, as you probably, hopefully, I don't know if you read part of the book, but when we met, she recommended, and 4 weeks into our relationship, I mean, I just met, I've just known her for about a month, she suggested I go to counseling. And so she's never been one to accept the status quo in relationships.
Yeah.
Kaylee, you don't mix words, do you?
No. Hey, you know what? I wanted to know what I was getting. I don't mind small surprises, but I thought, oh my gosh, he seems like a great guy. I don't want to put my whole heart into it and then find out there's a huge glaring something that I can't live with. So we talk about it in the book.
You know, what's funny about that is that, you know, we are really good about saying, oh, he's wonderful, or she's great, but, you know, you got to dig deep and know what the person, both in that relationship, are dealing with and what their need base is. I think in order to just be able to do this, to bring together this business life and this personal life that looks like, feels like balance, you got to know each other.
Right.
And
Yeah.
spend time with each other.
Well, and then I didn't have the tools like with communication and resolving conflict growing up. Had no idea. Our idea of resolving conflict was just walking out of the
Walk
room
out.
when we got upset with somebody, get in the car and drive off. And so we learned all that in counseling, which really helped us a lot. And now we help our clients with that.
Yeah, and my dad was a pastor, and he didn't know how to do conflict either. And so apparently they don't teach that in seminary.
No, they don't. They don't. Conflict resolution is highly important. Well, there's no conflict with this couple. I want to say it's just a pleasure to have you guys on. You move harmoniously, Robert and Kaylee, and it's been a pleasure to have you on. So thank you for bringing us to a place of understanding that, yes, we can have work-life balance. They are the authors of Tandem, the Married Entrepreneur's Guide for Greater Work-Life Balance. Thanks so much for being here. Look forward
Thanks,
to talking to
Kiki.
you again.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye.